I first want to start off by introducing myself. I'm Brandy Iska Hawkins. I have been with Ensono for 10 years. I started as on the service desk, and in 2020, I became part of the MFA program. And from there, I was able to get on the code promotion team and graduated from the Mainframe Academy and remained within that team. So from here, if Michael and Stacy will introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Boston. I'm currently an associate project manager for the Mainframe Optimized team. I'm pretty sure Saturday will make 4 years at Ensono. I first joined as a spring um, intern back in 2020, and since then, we've leveled up since then. So happy to be here. Happy to be at Ensono for 4 years and going. And yeah, it's great to meet you all.
Right. Well, hello everyone. I am Stacy Branch, manager of the Mainframe Academy here at Ensono. I have been with the company for nearly 2 years now. I'm what is known as a career changer. Prior to coming to Ensono, I was in education where I wore many hats. I taught business, technology to everything from elementary students all the way up to grad students. So, being in education like that, I almost became a professional student myself. I have degrees in business education, vocational education, and I have a PhD in curriculum and instruction. So now, being here in Ensono, I'm actually living the best of two worlds. Thank you.
Love that. Welcome. So, what I first want to start off doing is I'm going to give a brief history on Black history. Not a lot of people know these small facts that I have. So, it did start in 1926 with Carter G. Woodson, and he just wanted to use this time to promote Black excellence and our culture. And it did actually start off as a week-long celebration. It hasn't always been a month. And it was also always celebrated on the second week of the month. And the reason for that was because of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass' birthdays. So it is centered around those figures, and it's not because it's the shortest month. A lot of people feel slighted, because of that, but it's actually behind that fact. And there's actually many of our Black historic leaders that have birthdays in February. Um, in 1960s, it did evolve into Black History Month, and from there, it was recognized at the bicentennial in 1976 by Gerald Ford. Um, Another fun fact is in Canada, I know that's where Tina, I believe you love Canada, also celebrate Black History in February. And it's also observed in the UK and Ireland in October. So those are just some quick fun facts that about Black history for those who may not know. So from there, I do want to just begin our questions for this time. Um, and these are just some brief questions, just kind of getting into what it means to be Black in a corporate environment. A lot of us, just as human beings, we have some of the same experiences, but it's also important to realize that there are some experiences that Black people have had in the past that kind of shape who we are in the corporate world. So that's what we want to point out today with these questions. So I will start with the first one. Um, how can we cultivate an inclusive environment at Ensono that empowers individuals to express their authentic selves, particularly considering the unique experiences and contributions of the Black community?
I will go ahead and start with that question. Thankfully, Ensono has included these practices in their work already, but some points I do want to highlight is the leadership commitment. If leaders that actively pursue these goals and champions diversity and inclusion initiatives, I think that's a great impact on how we can cultivate an inclusive environment. Secondly, I like to include the education and awareness part, which is what we're doing. For those who are new to the topic or those who want to learn more about the topic, I think it's very good that Ensono has offered us to take the time out from people's days to come and learn about the history of Black History Month and also learning how we can improve our DEI efforts within our companies and take it out into the world. And just a third point that I like to include is just the recruitment, diverse recruitment and retention. A lot of people like to fall into things that they are familiar with, but branching out of that unconscious bias and going into different cultures, races, and pretty much it involves that groupthink feature that you don't get from just sitting in peers that look like you or sound like you or come from where you come from. You get all different types of perspectives and meanings. What offends you might not be offensive to everyone else. You want them to know that, and it's vice versa. So learning about those different cultures and learning what life means to other people that are different to you, it's very important to realize that so we can improve the livelihood of everyone here in Ensono.
Yes,
That makes
great points. Great points. And I have to piggyback off that for just quickly because I have to give MFA our props over here. Our numbers, they look well. They really do. When I tell you we take a different type of pride in doing that, and this is the first company that I've been with that was just so gung ho on saying, hey, we need to make sure everyone is included. Because when you think about it, this is the same as, remember I told you my education is backgrounds. My background is education, so you have to forgive me when I go back there. But even as children, the first thing that we know when they come into the schools is they just simply want to belong, right? So anytime someone can have that sense of belonging, no matter where they are, you'll definitely get some good results behind that. That makes a person, they know that they belong there. They feel like they're wanted there, and they're going to give you their all.
completely agree with that, Stacey. All good points. Our next question I want to dive into kind of goes back into what both of you have mentioned. Like, why do you believe it is essential for companies to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion, basically DEI measures, into their hiring processes?
Stacey, did you want to start this, or we'll go back and forth?
We can go back and forth, but yeah, I think it really, like you said, we just kind of touched on it quite a bit. You have to make everyone a part of your circle because here's the thing: if you don't do that, and we're a company and out, selling products and trying to get other people to come in, if they only see one face, many people want to see someone that looks like them or someone that they feel like can relate to the situation and circumstances that they come from. If I'm the Southern person, I may not be able to relate totally to what someone who's up north or someone who is from another country. People have to come in so that everyone, so we can do our own melting pot. And when we get ready to talk and all these different faces are forefront, everyone can say, oh, these people, they look like me. They kind of feel my pain. They understand what I'm going through. Michael.
Those are great points, for sure. I do want to bring up the fact that if you do feel like that you're involved, I personally think it increases the morale and the work
Mhm.
productivity that you do. I would love to say that I'm in a company that recognizes Black History Month. A lot of people like kind of shy away from it. They might send out one email or two at the beginning of the month,
Mhm.
and now we're doing an e-talk that highlights Black culture and Black people working in corporate workplaces. So I think that part is just really good, just improving the customer and community relations throughout Ensono. And also just remember that the world is changing. Years ago, it was completely different times. Now, if we're looking ahead, they're saying that the USA in particular is slowly changing into a different country, being that more and more different races are joining in the pool of humans. The percentages are shifting. For a country that was mostly white when it first happened, the melting pot is getting bigger, it's getting more diverse, and we're seeing more and more people of different races take on different challenges. Um, Also being included in their workplaces and just changing the culture that we live in. And I think that's really good for Ensono to adapt that. I think it's good for all companies to adapt that. And just the fact that we're making those strides right now to just talk about it is just really heartening to me.
I agree. And I think it goes back to what you said, Michael, about not wanting to hear like an echo. If everyone just all looks the same at the table, you don't, that's not how you grow as a company. The way you grow as a company is with diverse thoughts. And the only way to have diverse thoughts is if you bring in diversity into your company. The equity part to it is that try as we might, we're not all going to be treated equally. So there's when you think of equity, I think of someone, okay, I know that this may not be your strong suit. I'm going to help you up a little bit. You're talented. We're all talented.
Mhm.
We all have the education. But to give someone a leg up that may not have it, off top because of unconscious bias, I think that's important
Mhm.
for a company. And I think Insono is definitely heading in the right direction with that. I think it's also important because we live in a society where right now they're talking about removing that. So if companies set the standard of, hey, we're going to put our foot down, we're going to stand behind these measures, I think that's important to kind of for corporations to include that in their world, like kind of influence the world, if that makes sense.
Mhm. As
Yes.
long as it's not
I
that big elephant in the room, sometimes some things are like, oh, should I say it? Should I not say it? We
Hmm.
we definitely can't have that attitude when we're looking at um, anything, especially when you're dealing with DEI. Everyone is important, everyone is included. So when you hush your mouth or you don't say anything, sometimes that silence can be misinterpreted. Are you silent because you don't agree, or you're totally against it, or is your silence a feeling of uncomfortable? You just don't know what to say.
I also want to bring up the fact that a few people, or maybe a lot of people, might not be familiar with DEI itself. There have been some negative talks about it in recent history. We've seen it from actual owners of pretty big corporations saying that it's not a good thing. In my experience, and in the experience of many, DEI is not an objective to pretty much knock white people or any type of other people out of spots that they don't deserve. It simply recognizes that many minorities all that are either at the equal footing or maybe overqualified compared to their peers are not being selected due to unconscious bias. And I really do want to recognize that because it's not a way to think that, oh, we think those that fall into the DI standards deserve more than other counterparts. We just want to be simply treated as equal. And equality goes a long way because equality hasn't always meant equal in the past. So we want to take those efforts and make sure that we create a community that when we leave it better than we found it.
Mhm.
That's definitely the key.
Absolutely.
Okay. So our next question. In your experience, what actions or behaviors from allies have been the most impactful in promoting racial equity during Black History Month and beyond?
In my experience, I do feel like not only just being present, but remembering what you know and even taking the time out to review it and putting those words into actions is a really big thing. Everyone could literally just say, I came to the e-talk just to come. But putting those actions behind those words or anything that you learned is just a big key. Like many say, some people do the trainings that we're assigned just to get it out the way. But it's a lot of things to learn from those trainings. And if you use those trainings properly, you won't run into any issues in the future just because you put the work behind what you know. So just lifting up Black voices just to hear our perspectives, to see what you can do or what you would like to do outside the workplace even. Just taking it all through life, and just when you amplify those Black voices and put actions behind the words that you hear, I think that's the biggest thing that you can do regarding allies impacting and promoting racial equity during Black History Month.
Mhm.
And also not all, and I don't want to just let me rephrase that, not just during Black History Month, but through all of life. Just not to recognize Black people during Black History Month. It is important that we recognize everyone and recognize that Black people should be celebrated whenever they can. Black History Month is not just it's a time for celebration, but Black History Month is not just a specific time, just celebrate Black people and then move on. They should be celebrated as much as possible, just like anyone else would.
Mhm. When I think about allies and anything that for Black history, my main thing goes back to education. Who is telling my community, my people, that you can do it? I can't think about anything, no one better than the HBCU, right? That's where we're getting our education from. That's where we're being told, hey, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how you may think the world is against you, you can still do some things and you can achieve greatness. When I was in school, there was a program called the McNair Scholars Program, and it was named after a actual Black astronaut named Ronald McNair. And that whole program was geared towards putting a student on a path of not just getting a bachelor's degree, not just getting a master's degree, but going all the way to the top and getting your PhD, your doctorate degree, because again, it's something that you can do. You can do this. So, you know, again, anyone who is telling you that you can do it, to me, that will be the strongest ally I could ever have.
Yeah. And personally think of allyship, I think of someone standing beside me, um,
Mhm,
not
mhm,
just physically, but like, in thought. But I think of someone that has my back. I think
mhm,
of Mandy Long, her passion for DEI. I think of Robin in talent acquisition, like the way that they have the passion to say, I'm not going to stand for us just having, us all looking alike, but I'm going to go after what can we do to be better as a company, and that you can feel their passion, so it makes me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Um it really does, it's very heart-wrenching to me to know that there are people that may not look like me, but that they care about me, they care about people from my background, and that's what I think about with allyship is
mhm,
just someone having your back.
mhm.
Absolutely.
So was there anything else that we wanted to add when we talk about Black History Month and accomplishments?
I can tell
Um,
you one of my favorite sayings when I think about Black history. Um, I say that, we still have work to do. We must honor our ancestors and still realize that there is still work that has to be done. And so many things came from our ancestors and people who did so well. So without Black history, there will basically be no history. And that is the Black pride, that is the Black movement. And as Michael said, it's not putting anyone else down. It's saying, hey, I am proud of who I am. And this is who I am. This defines me. And this will keep me moving.
Um,
um, one
okay.
thing I did want to recognize was Ensono does have great policies regarding promoting inclusiveness.
Mhm,
So I really appreciate those efforts. A lot of companies kind of sway away from that. But like I say, the world is changing. Um, so I feel like just promoting those inclusive policies just to make sure everyone is at least on the same page where it comes from Ensono's efforts towards DEI. and just treating people of all races and cultures fairly. I think that's a big step that companies usually don't take. Companies really might take it for maybe business purposes. So just to say that they did it, or maybe just for legal purposes, just to say they met these quotas or stuff like that. But when you have a company that's truly behind you, that's putting in the work to make sure that they're behind you and doing everything that they can to show that they really care about you and who you are and just don't see you as a statistic or a metric. I think that just encourages you to do more for that company because they've already done so much for you.
Um,
Def-
Hi everybody. This is my name is Anson Lang. I am in the storage department here at Ensono. Let me just say a few things. First, I graduated from North Carolina A&T State University, the same university that Ron McNair went to, and Ron McNair was a genius, and a lot of people don't understand that he invented stuff that still is being used to this day on the International Space Station that's flying above us right now. He invented that on the campus of A&T. And a lot of people don't realize that. But a lot of people outside the United States recognize that. And this is the point that I'm getting to. When I was there in, I think it was in 2017, 2016, a lot of people don't realize that Russian spies came to campus and attempted to steal what he invented there. Now, why do people do not understand that? Is because um, America tend to have left out Black history as being part of American history. See, the reason why I understand this is like I'm the first American in my family. My parents are Jamaican. I was born here, and so I had an accent when I was younger, and my parents encouraged us to sound more like Americans. The reason I mention this is because I grew up in a society where everybody kind of looked like you, and then when you come here, they kind of don't embrace that. And what Insona is doing is something where they are saying it's not Black History Month. It's more like it's part of American history that they realize that it's been left off and left out, and they're just trying to bring it back to foresight because history is going to repeat itself, and they have the foresight and knowledge already to acknowledge that. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged and told to Insono in large, because like I've never seen this many people so interested, and not just because it's a number. They are genuinely interested because they understand the ramifications. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Anson.
Anson.
I really
Can we
appreciate
share
you
the
sharing.
name of the inventor and the school name?
That was Ronald McNair, the same gentleman that was passed away in the uh, was it Challenger that exploded or this? Yeah,
Yes.
but like yeah,
Nice.
it's yeah they I remember this because FBI agents came to campus, and that's not something that you normally see happen, and it was a big to do. But they kept it low key, so it didn't even make the news. But when you were there, you see it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, he invented. So what they did to keep that from happening again was they made a. It looks like the actual device, but it's missing all these key components. It's with NASA,
Hmm.
and so it's under pat. And so you'll see this little thing saying this is now a replica. So they actually had the original one that he invented, and they made the prototype and they sent it to NASA. Now NASA actually has the one that they attempted to steal.
Mm,
Wow. See, that's what we're
nice.
talking about. A lot of facts kind of get lost. I think about, hidden figures, and we're not taught that. And
Yes.
My granddaughter's named after a African American astronaut. Um, May, I think.
Mae Jemison.
Mae
Yeah,
And
Jemison,
Jameson,
she's
Yeah.
still
yes,
around. Yeah.
yeah.
yes.
And I think we should
Mm.
celebrate. Um, we should celebrate. That's fantastic.
Brand, it's funny that you mentioned that the hidden figures. So, I was actually late with this movie for those who, have never seen it. It's a movie called Hidden Figures. And by the time I looked at it, I had just started working here in Ensono. And then they mentioned the mainframe. And I'm going, had I not been working here, I'd be going, what is a mainframe? What are they talking about here? And so it was just so cool how we had these 4 Black women who were geniuses, mathematical geniuses, and they were the ones there, not recognized for who they were. They were in the back, but they were the brains. They were the ones who was getting those calculations together and making that company be what it was. And eventually, in the movie, there was some recognition, and there was, okay, this is who actually did it. But they had to fight. Had to fight for their recognition to say, hey, this was me who did it. You may have treated me any kind of way along the way, but hey, I am smart, and I deserve to be acknowledged for that. And that was kind of like the gist of that movie.
Yeah. And I thought it was wild that I hadn't heard of it until they made a movie out of it. And I hate when that happens. It's like I should have known this part of history, you know?
Yeah.
Why was
Yes,
I not taught this? Um,
yes. Because,
okay.
and
There's
that's another
lots
thing,
out
we
there. There's
always get
lots
the
of
regular
there's lots
people.
out there.
Yeah, we get the regular people. We always hear about the, MLK. Of course, can't take that away. I'm definitely not saying that. But a lot of times we just hear about the quote unquote the regular people from the beginning. We don't realize about how many of the great inventions were made by Black people. Cleaning devices. Or was it the broom, the mop, things like that were invented by Black people. We
Tiffany.
we don't we don't kind of go deep into it like that. We just think about who were the forefronters, and then we leave it alone when there are so many other interesting aspects to it. And once you figure those things out, you go, wow, you know, kind of awesomeness.
Hmm. Tiffany, you had your hand up?
Yes, Brandy, thank you for recognizing me. I would just want to share about being an ally and what comes to my mind. It's like when you are actually interested in someone, you
Hmm.
invest time in them, you learn things about them on your own,
Hmm.
you notice certain things about me that I like and I love, and you actually make an effort to learn it on your own. And it just that to me is what actual being an ally, creating that atmosphere to cultivate and develop that relationship with that person, with that community of people, and not expecting that community of people to always feed you everything of their history, because we have a vast, strong, mighty history. And it's
Point.
like,
Hmm.
I can't contain all of it in my brain, and it's like, hey, you really want to know me, you want to be my friend, you see cards about me, learn of me on your own, take an
Hmm.
initiative. And that's what I want for, communities and companies to do. And of course, I can share all of my good times, and the sad times and the bad times that made us grow and be strong as a community. But it's like, do you really want to know, or you just want a limited knowledge of me? And it sets a standard. It really divides where that person actually stand, with you, and knowing that my voice is smaller, and you recognizing your voice is much larger than mine. Are you going to stand up? Are you going to speak up for me? Or are you going to
Hmm.
cower behind that and just let it be as it be, and just reap all the benefits and just go on as life? And then we'll be continuing this cycle, hey, we need an ally. It's just not fair to any community to constantly have to repeat themselves that we're actually standing alone here, guys. We're on the losing side. It's like, hey, speak up, and say something. That's what I think about ally. But I'll
Hmm.
get off my soapbox. But thank you for
Do you
recognizing me,
find
Brandy.
No
the
problem. Thank
cafe
you, sis.
opportunity that Ensono offers useful to reinforce allies?
I
Do
do.
I do
I
too.
do.
I really
I
do.
just I just met with I actually just had my meeting, I think, back on Tuesday morning, and I've only done a couple, but I've meet people from different countries. I've met with
Yeah.
executives at some point. So just to see just their background, not only just learning what they do in the workplace, but just where they come from, their experiences, how they celebrate themselves. It's just a really great opportunity just to get to learn about someone you'll never probably get to know unless you just specifically had that initiative to do. So it's just a great experience just doing the Connection Cafe.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. Hmm. I met some phenomenal people. I remember last year I was trying to get a pre-assessment for our MFA program. And might I add, Tiffany and Ensign are MFA graduates. Might I add that they've jumped in the conversation? Look, every chance I get, I'm gonna. But I met with I mean, I tell you, my mind was just scrambling on how was I going to get everything done, and he just gave me so many resources to get out there and find some things and get it done. And I was like, wow, good old Connection Cafe. I love it. Yeah.
That is something I need to take advantage of. I haven't done that yet,
Oh
so
yes,
that's
yes.
It's a lot of people who join. I think everyone who joins finds it beneficial. Just that 30-minute talk with just someone just to get to meet them and know about them. And if you want to build on that, there's always that opportunity.
Yeah.
Everyone I've always met, they always left their contact or just say, reach out on Teams if you need any advice or anything like that. Especially the executives. I don't know how much time they have on their plate considering they are executives. They might have meetings in and out probably every day and just work to do, but they do offer that opportunity just to reach out to them for any advice. Since I'm pretty young in the mainframe career and just younger in the younger workforce in general, I'm only 25, so they automatically see that as if you need anything, just reach out to me, and I really do appreciate that.
It's the community.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Nice.
like it. Well, does anyone else have anything to add?
I
Hey,
do
Brandy. Oh,
appreciate. Oh, my
sorry,
bad.
Mike.
I just wanted to say I really do appreciate all the input from everyone on the call. I'm glad it just wasn't us two panelists and the host. Just everyone just including just everyone just including their ideals. I love that Black excellence is being celebrated all around, not just in the corporate setting, but just recognizing it on all fronts, and even those who aren't recognized but are putting in the work just to make sure that the world is a better place each and every day. I just really do appreciate this meeting, this e-talk, this topic, just all the participation all around.
You're welcome. I think it's fun.
Karen?
Yes, hi. I'm sorry, I joined the meeting late, but I'm glad that I'm here. And I want to say that I am a mainframe person from over 25 years. And I have to say, as being African American, one of the first companies I worked for the mainframe, and I've moved up from doing, well, we called it key punch back then, but the data entry up to a systems programmer, and now I'm here at Ensono as a mainframe transition manager, which is out of my comfort zone because I was used to being one of the subject matter experts, but now I'm a transition manager. So, but I just wanted to say, when I worked for EDS, I was the only Black woman, and I used to walk through the hallways, and corporate managers and other managers would say, "Hi, Karen. Hi, Karen." I didn't know who they were, and I could not understand how they knew who I was. And it took 2 years, and this is crazy, 2 years for me to figure out, oh, because when you go into operations, there's one Black woman, that's Karen. That's how they knew who I was. And I never got that. It took me a while to get that because I never thought of myself as a Black woman. I'm part of the team. And I didn't
Mm.
get that. I don't know. I just wanted to just tell you that because it still
It's a
boggles my
weird
mind.
feeling. It's like
It
you're
it
the
Mhm.
only woman in a man's world.
yeah.
I mean, it's just a very strange feeling.
Yes,
Mhm.
but there's so many more women in mainframe now, and I love the mainframe. I've worked on it for so long, so I know it inside and out. And I love this position here. I've just started last August, so I'm still learning, but I really enjoy everybody I work with and just seeing the diversity. That's
Nice.
all. And
Love
good
that
morning,
too.
everyone.
Good morning, Karen. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I've definitely had those experiences where you're only, and that's a very important topic. And then you kind of get excited when you see someone that looks like you for the first time at the company. So that's one of the another reason why it's important to have DEI measures and with hiring. So um,
Yes.
definitely. Tina,
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank all of you. This has just been fabulous. I really appreciate it. And congratulations, because I can only imagine, I've never hosted an e-talk. And same thing, like, who's going to show up? And I think you've had
Yeah.
a really good showing. So well done. Um, I love the acronym of SOUL. So I think it's fabulous. And I know you're one of the newer community groups. Do you want to share with us sort of what your intentions or plans are for this year? Or because you're brand new, so it'd be great to get some more information.
yes. I was gonna talk about joining, but some of the things that we've talked about is we want to have an e-talk in June, which is the month of Black Music Month, and Juneteenth. And we may do more so. I want to do a Kahoot. So I think music trivia is wonderful. In history, Black people have contributed so much in music. And I think we've talked about possibly having a little performance, but we'll see. Um, but something to that sort for June. And we'll just continue. We like to share articles and just get involved. One thing I also want to do is have like when it comes to health, when we start talking about health, possibly having like a hip hop fitness class around that time. um, that's something that I'm wanting to get more into. I think we all need to, especially with Black people, be healthier, so one of the things I want to share is just basically us doing like a health thing for, pertaining to Black people. So um that's
What did you call it?
Oh, I was just saying that as far as ideas for the new year or within the year, just having kind of like I know Ensono has like a health week.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
think
I
if I'm
love the
not
idea. I
mistaken.
just didn't grab the name.
Oh, it's not a name. It's just like maybe having like a hip hop workout class
Love it. Love it.
on one of the days, hosted
Yeah.
by Soul, and just some health initiatives because we tend to historically have issues with our health, and we just need to be more proactive instead of reactive when it
Hmm.
comes to something like that.
Nice.
And but yeah, this is our information as far as joining Soul. If you are interested, we'd love to have you. Like I said, other things that we're planning on doing, I think we've talked about Afrotech. I couldn't think of the name for a second this year, but that's something budget wise we want to look into and just kind of do some more research on. I did look into it and saw that I didn't see anybody really talking about mainframe at the conference, or, I think that that'd be a good way of maybe get Insono's name out in recruitment. So those are just a few of the things that we plan on doing for the rest of the year. I see a lot of comments. I have trouble reading and talking,
Well, I
multitasking.
look for
But
I look Brandy, I look forward to the June meeting. Please reach out to me so we can reserve a date. And Jamie
yes,
did make a comment about mental and physical health is always essential, and it's always, it seems to be put on the back burner. And so we
yeah,
should really focus on that more.
yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. And I will reach out to you for a date because I don't think I set that out. Um, can't just assume we're busy with a lot of e-talks. So, and I like that. I love learning all the different topics. And I want to shout out, and I just saw it briefly, and I don't know the date. I believe there is an e-talk on autism or
Next week.
next
Yeah,
week.
it's the
So
29th, February 29th.
please attend that e-talk. I know I'm interested in learning more about that. And so please attend. I love to support all of the groups. I also want to plug in Hero that is also doing some great things. So we just all around with all the different community groups. I just love that Ensono is doing this and that we have employees that are passionate enough to kind of lead that front. So
And I believe that September 26th, all the way into September, we have Myra doing Hispanic Heritage Month. So stay tuned for that one as well.
awesome.
You guys are making me hungry. I'm thinking all this food.
You have a few more hours for lunch, Anne.
I
Sorry.
know.
May need to get a snack. I would love for us to have like a culture day where we all had
Yes.
like a potluck and brought food.
That'd be
I know we're
cool.
all maybe, sharing recipes since a lot of us are remote. But I think if we could do something like that, that would be neat too. Just kind of collab with the different groups. Um, well, I don't want to hold everyone. I really have enjoyed this conversation. Mandy, you were about to say something?
Yeah, just really quick, two things. I was on a call earlier with a couple of our associates in India, and they were asking, what does the background mean? What is Black History Month? And that's maybe something that associates in regions where that's not acknowledged, they may not be familiar. So if you're comfortable to use the background or to talk about it in your business meetings, especially if there's a global audience, just to share a little more for those that may not be familiar of what you've learned today, I think would be great, and share out the recording for associates that weren't able to attend. And then also just wanted to say thanks to Brandy, Stacy, Michael, the others that spoke up. It takes a lot of courage to talk about yourself in a personal way in this platform. And it takes a lot of work to put this on. So thanks for dedicating the time and for being brave to speak up and to share your story. You're paving the way for other people to do the same. And that's how Ensono is going to, keep progressing forward in terms of being an inclusive workplace that really values just diversity in thought and diversity in our population.
Thank you, Mandy. And as always, thank you for your support. You're just awesome.